Welcome back to the farmhouse, my friends. Today I just want to take you along with me as I share a few things that I am thankful for on this Thanksgiving Thursday and hopefully give you a little bit of inspiration for your own home. I am using this antique dresser as a linen closet upstairs to keep towels for the kids when they shower upstairs because I don't have a linen closet in this house, but this works out great. It's beautiful and still need to add some decor to this loft, as you can tell, but I am enjoying this piece of furniture. One of my favorite podcasts did an episode about being content in an imperfect home, and I really enjoyed it. I love my home. There's still things that we're working on. We built this house, so I still have projects here and there. You probably can't tell on video, but I have wood that needs to get polyurethaned. I have some tile that actually needs to get grouted still. But I enjoy my home. And one of the things that helps me to enjoy my home is homemaking or making it nice. So making my bed in the morning, cleaning up my room, opening the curtains, and cleaning off the dressers, things like that just help me to really enjoy my home and be content and grateful for the things that I have. Is just keeping it clean and taking care of it, whether that is the bathroom, the yard, the kitchen, the entire house. The more that you care for your home and your space, and the more that you make it beautiful, the more you are grateful for it and can enjoy it. One of my favorite stories that really shows how to be grateful for things was told by H. Gordon Green over 50 years ago in a magazine. He wrote a story about his family and how his brothers and sisters grew up on the farm and how they didn't get to go play after school. They had to go work on the farm and do farm chores, but their dad had a really good knack at helping the kids to see how blessed they were, especially on Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving, he would take the kids around the house and have them take inventory of everything they had. So he'd first take them down to the root cellar, have them take inventory of all the apples, beets, carrots, potatoes that they had packed down there, as well as all the canned food that they had down there. Then he'd take them out to the barn and have them count the hay and the grain that they have stored up. And he'd take them out to the yard and have them count how many pigs, chickens, geese, turkeys that they had. And he said that he wanted to see where they stood for the year, but the kids really knew that on that Thanksgiving day, their father wanted them to see how richly God had blessed them in their efforts and smiled on their work. And so when they finally sat down to feast on that Thanksgiving day, the blessings were something that they really felt. And then he talked about one year was really bad. It started out great and they got electricity installed in their house that year and they got a washing machine, but that was like the last good thing that happened to them that year because it was a really rainy year and it washed out all of their crops twice. So the only thing that survived were some turnips that they had planted that year, and they had to sell all of their livestock because they couldn't afford to feed their livestock and they needed the money. And so that Thanksgiving year was a sad Thanksgiving, and everyone was just wanting to forget about celebrating Thanksgiving that year. And so the dad went out and he shot a jackrabbit and asked his mom to cook it, and she cooked it with some of the turnips that were left, and the kids didn't want to eat. They were not feeling very grateful, and they did not want to eat. So their dad did something interesting. He went up to the attic, got some of the old oil lamps that they had to use before the electricity, lit them, and told the kids to turn out all the lights. And when they sat there in the dark, they wondered how they ever had seen anything without the bright lights that were made possible by electricity. The food was blessed, everyone ate, the dinner was over, and then they all sat there quietly, and Gordon wrote, "In the humble dimness of the old lamp, we were beginning to see clearly again. It was a lovely meal, the jackrabbit tasted like turkey, and the turnips were the mildest that we ever tasted. Our home, for all of its wants, was so rich to us." I am just grinding some wheat here. I love this einkorn wheat that I've been getting from a farm in Teton, Idaho. Love how it's packed in these buckets and that I can store that in the root cellar. And this wheat grinder was given to me by my great-great-grandmother. It was my mother's and then she passed it down, but it has 2 stone wheels in it and they still work perfect and grind the wheat down to super fine powder that's great for baking. So I love it. And I want to take you guys out and show you the root cellar that we are building. So this garden house right here is 12 by 16. We did have a root cellar excavated and poured while we were building our house. And this year my husband's been working on, in his spare time, putting up the garden house on top of the root cellar. So we're still working on it, but finally being able to bring some food storage down to the root cellar. I am excited to be able to use this to store all of our tools in and to be able to use as a potting shed in the spring. And really excited for the root cellar and the inspiration that I have felt to build this for food storage. We live in Idaho, so we grow a lot of root vegetables here. And we also have a lot of grains available to us from local farmers, a lot of local farmers, and I'm looking forward to be able to store so much down here. I probably have a couple years worth of wheat storage that would feed our family for a few years, and hopefully we'll be able to fit all of that underneath these stairs, and then we'll be able to line the rest of the walls with shelving and bring down canned food and be able to do the bins of the apples and the carrots packed in sand and potatoes in the root cellar. But really excited for this space and to be able to give you guys a sneak peek. So what do we do with all that wheat storage? Well, I cook with it, and my family's been eating whole wheat since I got married, basically. I grew up on it. My parents stored it. It's funny because if you search online, what you see on Google, if you ask how long wheat lasts, it will say like 6 months or a year, but that's not true. And so that's really interesting how that misinformation is so widely spread. But wheat will last over 30 years if it's stored right. So in an airtight container in a cool, dry place, it will last for an extremely long time. Usually on my channel, I am showing you recipes that I make with all-purpose flour. Usually I'm doing sourdough bread or sourdough rolls or cinnamon rolls, but I really do love baking with einkorn flour too. Usually I'll mix it with all-purpose flour, which makes it just rise a little bit better, but it is delicious all on its own and very good for you. And I do like cooking with this all on its own too. I just don't do it as much. But this is just going to be a regular batch of einkorn flour dinner rolls, so they'll pull apart. And I am just making these for lunch, and we will just serve them with butter or honey or butter and jam, whatever you want to serve it with. It's delicious with a bowl of soup or all on its own. There's so many things that you can do with whole wheat. It's not just for making breads. You can actually sprout them, the wheat berries, and then put them on top of your salad or have it like a vegetable. Or you can also boil wheat berries and make salads with them, and chop up some onion and some vegetables to go in it with some Italian dressing or something. That's a really good, different kind of salad. But there's a lot you can do with whole wheat besides bread. But these rolls turned out really good, and I just served them for lunch today. And I'll give you, let you see what that looks like. I love to be able to grow and harvest squash, put up the peaches, put up the salsas, put up the slaws and the chicken and the pie filling and the beef stews and the chicken stews and the pickled beets and all the delicious foods and things that we can harvest from our own garden or from local farmers, and be able to have that on hand, as well as the longer food storage items like flour, sugar, salt, rice, beans, corn for popping, and all these things that give our family so much abundance. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and it gave you a little bit of Thanksgiving Thursday inspiration. Also, don't forget to check out the channels that are linked below in the description. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and we'll see you next time.